No. Welcome to Families in Action on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I'm Kerry Quashen along with my co-host Bob. Hey, Bob, how are you?
I'm good, Kerry. How are you?
It's awesome. You know what? The weekend, I was going to say, I'm sorry the weekend's over, but it's been a busy weekend anyway, so it doesn't really feel to me like there was much of a weekend.
Yeah, sometimes they're like that. It doesn't stop.
No, the phones and the cell phones, I mean, the texts and the emails, it was just one of those weekends that it was just, what's a good word for it? Insane.
Yeah.
But anyways, Families in Action is brought to you by your local hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Yay, we appreciate it. Thank you very much. And Action Parenting Support Program and Action Family Counseling, which I'll let you tell us about, Bob.
Oh, Action Family Counseling has different levels of care, including residential, outpatient, partial hospitalization. We're dual diagnosis facilities. We have on-staff marriage and family therapists. We have psychiatrists on staff. We have licensed chemical dependency counselors, and we treat everyone from 12 years old to, I don't know.
Yeah, they're mid-80s.
Yeah, we've got.
You know, I got a phone call yesterday, though. I was just thinking about that, too. Usually, I mean, we do get calls from people that are over 60 or 70 that are obviously drinking and on prescription drugs and all that. But I had one of the first yesterday, somebody that was 82 years old smoking crystal meth.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
For the first time, started 3 months ago for whatever reason, and is like gone.
Right.
So we're having to first put him in a behavioral health unit because you know what happens when you smoke a lot of crystal meth. You
Sure.
kind of get a little bit of drug-induced psychosis.
Yeah.
So we got to figure out what's psychosis and what's age and all that kind of stuff with this guy.
Interesting. Yeah, usually it starts a lot younger than that.
Right, and I went through his drug history and really couldn't find much.
Interesting.
So it was one of those kind of things. He was hanging out with some people that were a little bit younger, and somebody said, try this, and he went, what the heck, I'm old enough, and tried it, and is in for a ride.
Right.
It's really pretty sad. I mean, it's kind of, it brings a smile on your face, but really, if you think about it, it's pretty darn sad.
Yes, it is.
And now he's sitting in a psych unit, and we got to figure out what to do with him next.
Yeah, let's get him. Let's get him clean and try to sort through everything and see where his head's at.
That's all. Yeah, really.
Absolutely.
That's all we can do. But it's like we were talking before we started, before we bring our guests on. But I think we're actually treating more accidental addicts today than ever before.
In today's world, and it's not, I mean, we talk about what's going on a lot in the Santa Clarita Valley, but it's everywhere. In today's world with prescription medications. Actually, I think about 2 months ago, there was the LA Times said that the number of deaths due to opiate and opioid, and especially prescription medications, it has topped the number of car accidents.
See, that's amazing. Say that again.
The number of deaths by not only prescription, but mostly prescription medications, opiates and heroin and things like that, has exceeded the number of deaths due to automobile accidents.
Right, and we're focused so much on heroin everywhere I go. But I'll tell you what, most people don't wake up and say, let me shoot some heroin.
Right.
It starts somewhere, and we could track it all back as far as we want with goals and contracts, which we'll talk about when we get back from our break. But nobody starts with heroin. They start with whatever, cigarettes, marijuana, alcohol, prescription pills, and when the prescription pills get impossible to get or just too expensive or too crazy, they find something else that works the same but is a lot cheaper and easier to get.
And we were talking about, on the way over here, Ryan, who's one of our guests today, we were talking about that advertisement that's out there that we just love. It's a picture from the inside of a medicine cabinet with a kid standing there in front of it looking in, and it says, don't be your kid's drug dealer.
Right.
And how true is that? Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll talk about that when we come back from break. This is Families in Action on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
Do you know how much water you use daily? A typical Santa Clarita Valley resident averages 270 gallons every day. You can lower your water number with simple adjustments to your outdoor watering. Replace a section of your water-guzzling grass with California-friendly plants. Reduce evaporation by watering at night or early morning. And set your sprinklers to run for 2 short cycles to avoid runoff. What's your water number?
You promised me the world. Is this what you had in mind?
Every choice we make has a consequence. Help EarthShare and its members restore balance to the world. Visit earthshare.org and see what you can do. EarthShare, one environment, one simple way to care for it.
The magical thing about using energy wisely is that anyone can do it. Use energy-saving light bulbs, Energy Smart power strips, and turn off computers and game systems when not in use. Get together and make a difference. Learn what you can do at energy.gov/tink.
Welcome back to Families in Action on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Before we went on break, we were talking about don't be your kid's drug connection.
Yeah. It's just like, and we talked about this, I think, last week or the week before, it just kind of got brought up, is if you have prescription medications in your house, treat them like it's a weapon, like a gun. Lock it up and put a trigger lock on it, put it in a gun safe, same as you would with your prescription medications if you had little kids around the house. Because when they're readily available, what happens is it may not be your kid, but it might be some of your kids' friends that are coming over and using your restroom and looking through your medicine cabinet.
It's at a point right now where it's so bad when it comes to prescription drugs that people are going to open houses.
Right.
And they're looking through medicine cabinets. They're really there just to look for prescription pills.
Right.
They're going to old people's homes, retirement homes, looking in the trash cans to try to get bottles so they can call in refills.
Right.
So we really got to pay attention to what's going on. I mean, look at the news on the armed robberies that are going on with pharmacies right now.
Yeah. And there's, another gentleman and myself were talking the other day, another counselor. There's a couple of cases that may be setting a precedent regarding the ease with which doctors are writing prescriptions. There's a doctor in, I believe in San Diego, who's being charged right now and may get manslaughter charges because of the number of prescriptions she was putting out without legitimate issues behind the prescriptions. So.
All right. And there are some doctors out there that are they're drug pushers.
Right.
And we got to watch out. But you also got to remember that most doctors are good people. They really are. They're out there really trying to do a good service. And you got to remember that pain, you can't see it. It doesn't show up in a camera. You can't x-ray it. If somebody walks in there and they're in pain, doctors want to fix that.
Yeah.
So until people really get to know what's going on, the first thing is, hey, I want you to be comfortable.
Right.
And for good reason. Now, I'm not taking away from there are real doctors that are crooks, but most doctors are not.
Well, and we get a lot of our clientele that come in the outpatient that I'm at, and they'll start at first a lot of times playing the blame game, and they'll start pointing the finger at, well, the doctor gave it to it. And I go, well, wait a minute.
Yeah, you knew.
You showed up to the doctor's office and gave him all the this, that, and the other to try to get more.
And you also got to, for us, most people that are relapsing in recovery are relapsing on what?
Prescription medication.
Because they go to the doctor, something's hurting, and they figure, well, I'll follow the doctor's advice. I'll take just a little bit, and before they know it, that addiction is released from their brain again, and that obsession comes over, and it's gone. It's back to the races.
Well, and there's some real science to the way the brain works around the pain receptors and opiates. And because of the addiction component, somebody who's taking prescription opiates as prescribed, the brain will actually manufacture additional pain so that they can chase more of the drug.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it is amazing.
What do you laugh at that?
Just because how true that is.
all of a sudden we hurt even more. Right?
Yeah.
The headache's worse. The back's just terrible. Oh, my foot hurts.
Well, and the thing about it is it's real pain.
Yeah.
You feel it, but it's being manufactured by the brain to get more of the addictive medicine, the opiates and such.
Well, that's what they say: cunning, baffling, and powerful.
Right.
That's the disease of alcoholism and addiction: is cunning, baffling, and powerful. And once we start, that saying one's too many and 1,000 is not enough. Think about that.
Right.
Our brain's fine. We don't need any drugs until we use them again.
Yep.
Then we need not just one, but 1,000.
Well, and if you ever talk to anyone who's experienced the withdrawal from opiates, it's pain. That is the withdrawal. It's painful, man. So coming off it, your body's just screaming for more. Give me more after you start taking it. And the other side of it is I can't tell you how many people come in who've been on prescription painkillers for years and years, and they finally go through the detox process and they get off of everything and they say, "Oh my God, the pain's not even there anymore." Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing. But
Or if I take a couple of Tylenol, I'll be okay anyways.
Right. Yeah.
And
It's amazing what Motrin will do, right?
And they were taking 30 Vicodin a day.
Yeah.
Really? Of course you had pain. You were withdrawing. It hurt.
Yeah.
So you have to keep taking that to feel better. But the amount of people I was thinking about all the deaths.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's really, I can't think of a better word, but disgusting.
It's hard, and it's hard to get an accurate number a lot of times on because some of the deaths, you can't really get information on what the causes are and things like that. So it's hard, but we see a lot of.
But I was really trying to think if I see more heroin deaths or more prescription pill deaths.
Oh, I would say prescription pill deaths for sure.
So why is everybody focusing so much on heroin?
Yeah.
Let's focus on the real root of stuff, drugs, period.
Right. Right. A lot of people don't understand that and maybe someone out there listening today may get something out of this, is that the OxyContin is heroin.
Right.
And and the Vicodin is heroin, and it's the same basic drug. It's just in a different form, and we get a lot of people in our program.
And just as addicting and just as deadly.
I mean, we get people who will, they don't quite get that. And they go, well, at least I never use heroin. And I go, wait a minute here. You're taking 30 Vicodin a day, right? And he or she says, yes. I say, you are using heroin. And they go, huh? They don't get it. I go, it's exactly the same drug.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, but that's the kind of addict people. I mean, that's how we look at things. I'm not a hype. I'm not sitting in a corner shooting dope. That makes me a junkie. I'm sitting in my bedroom dropping 15 pills. That's different. I'm getting them from a doctor.
Well, and I know that you, you talk a lot about contracts that we break, and we give that talk a lot in the younger schools because everybody makes that. I don't want to be a drug addict when I grow up. I'm never going to smoke a cigarette. I'm never going to smoke pot. I'm never going to use the harder drugs. It's amazing, even when you get them on the other end after they've been using for 20 years, that we still keep that up. Mm-hmm. At least I'm only snorting cocaine. I'm not smoking crack, or at least I'm only taking Vicodin. I'm not shooting heroin.
Or you know what? I'm not a junkie. I smoke heroin. I don't shoot it.
Right.
It's a what's it called drug now? What's the word I'm looking for? But you know what I mean. Designer drug. I just smoke it. Get out of here. Who are you kidding?
Yeah, it's exactly the same. And anybody who has done that can attest to the withdrawal of, smoking it gets you just as...
It's no different.
Yeah.
You're physically and emotionally addicted the same way as if you were shooting it. On that, let's take a break. This is Families in Action on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
Hello. Yes. Can I ask a few questions about the apartment on Park Street?
What was your name?
My name is Juan Hernandez.
It's been rented.
Oh, it's gone. Hello, my name is Sanjay Kumar. I am calling about the apartment on Park Street.
It's not available.
Not available?
Hello, my name is Tyrone Washington. I'm calling about the apartment on Park Street.
Just been rented.
Hello, I am Chen Ling. My name is Khalid bin Ali. I'm Tuan Vo.
Hello, my name is Moshe Goldberg.
I use a wheelchair. It's gone. Not available. All right. Thank you.
Yes, hello, my name is Graham Wellington. I'm calling about the apartment for rent on Park Street. Is that still available?
Yes, it is.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Really?
Housing discrimination is illegal. If you think you've been a victim because of your race, color, national origin, sex, religion, disability, or family status, call us. Fair housing. It's not an option. It's the law.
Oh, it must be careful there. Well, that's a nice picture.
Come on, Anna.
Okay.
Foreclosure doesn't affect just you. It affects your whole family, too. If you've fallen behind on your mortgage, we can help. Call 1-888-995-HOPE, because nothing is worse than doing nothing.
Don't say that.
You don't have to. Left-handed people, a little bit more creative. I'm going to say nothing.
Left-handed people are smart.
They are.
Here, Mom. I have a... We have a... I have a... Dad, do you want to get the phone?
No.
Every year, 1 million families face losing their homes to foreclosure. If you're ignoring your mortgage issues, things will only get worse. Call 1-888-995-HOPE, because nothing is worse than doing nothing.
Welcome back to Families in Action on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I'm Kerry Quashin along with Bob Sherris, my co-host. And we're talking about, I was going to say prescription drugs, but we're really talking about drug addiction and how it creeps up on you and grabs you, and before you know it, you're in big trouble.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let you take over, Bob.
Well, we started off here just talking about some general things that are going on, and we see it a lot. I can't say enough about the prescription drug problem that we have, not only in Santa Clarita, but it's all over the place. I mean, pick up any newspaper and you can see what's going on. We got people dying from it all the time.
Everywhere,
and it's a real issue.
And by the way, no one's immune to this.
Right. So rather than us as the experts on the treatment side of it, talking about it, I also brought in a couple of friends of ours today. We got Mindy and Ryan here, and what I'd like to do is just ask you guys to tell us a little bit about your personal story and how it progressed for you, because I think I know both of you a little bit enough to know that you have sort of a different path that led to the same place, and both of them led into, the end result was you're both in treatment, and you've been through treatment, and you're doing well now, and you've got some sobriety. But how does it start? Do you want to start us off, Ryan? Mind starting us off? We talked earlier a little bit about the contracts that we make with ourselves. Can you take yourself back and remember when you were a kid before you started using?
Yeah, definitely. I was a pretty typical high school teenager. Drugs were just part of the rebellion against my parents, against school, whatever. I had smoked pot for a while, and I was experimenting with different things, and eventually, like you said, I stumbled upon my parents' medicine cabinet where I found painkillers.
Right. And when did you start? How old were you when you started smoking pot?
15.
Okay.
Remember what happened? You were walking down the street, right? Think about this. And you looked up into the sky and a bong fell into your hands and said, "Smoke me."
Oh, yeah.
How did it start, really? You made a decision somewhere to, okay, I'll do this.
Yeah, to break that contract, right?
Yeah, well...
Can you remember that?
For me, it had more to do with smoking pot as being more of a social lubricant. It helped me make friends and helped me make me feel better about myself.
Yeah. You all of a sudden fit right in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. That's why a lot of people do. It's stress and all kinds of stuff, and I don't really know where I fit. And as soon as you take your first hit, you're already part of something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, my dad's prescription really, what started out as an experiment developed into something that I really liked, became habit.
When you say an experiment, what do you mean? Like you decided, or somebody said, "Hey, try this." You got curious. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I guess I knew what it was. I'm not really sure how I was introduced to it, but it seemed like, when I saw it, it was like, well, my dad takes it as medicine. It's not really a drug. It's just a pill that the doctor gave him.
Boy, I hear that. so much. It's, you know what, it's a doctor prescribed it. It's not that bad. It's not like I'm shooting heroin or using crystal meth. It's a prescription.
Yeah. And when you say it, what was it? What kind of medication are we talking about?
Vicodin, Tramadol, morphine, Oxycontin.
Okay.
You remember the first time you took it? Can you remember that?
Yeah, very vividly, actually.
Talk about that.
Well, it was Oxycontin, and I had taken it, and I just remember this sensation of feeling like I was in heaven, basically. My whole body felt numb. Any stress that I had felt was completely lifted. It was just a great experience at the time.
How do you tell somebody? That's what we fight every day.
Yeah. How do you tell somebody not to do it when that's the experience? Right
when they
there?
just went to heaven.
Yeah.
No, really, think about that. How do you tell somebody that something that made them feel so good and took away all their troubles and concerns and stress and problems for that little short period of time is bad?
Well, you know, you eventually run into a point where you need it every day.
Well, no, we know that, but it's that first thing people say to us. I mean, people ask me all the time, how many times you got to use it to be addicted?
Yeah. What's the answer to that? What for you personally?
To be addicted to it?
Yeah.
Emotionally.
You know, every time there's a problem, you pick it up.
First time, because it made you feel so darn good.
Yeah, it becomes your go-to for every stressor.
You know how many people I've met that said the first time I took whatever it is that they took, I knew I was addicted?
Right.
First time.
First
because
time?
it felt so good. You know, I've been clean 31 years. I remember Quaaludes back then. First time I took one, I looked at the person. I was at a Starwood nightclub. You guys would remember it was before your time. I'm a little bit older than you by a year or two. But I remember first time I took it, I looked at my friend and I said, oh, man, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
And he said, why? I said, I love this. I knew it right then that I was in big trouble.
Yeah. So, how quickly did it get really difficult for you to keep up your habit?
Very quickly. I held on to the medication thing. It was kind of something, as opposed to harder things like heroin, it was something that made me feel like I wasn't as much of an addict.
There we go. I love it.
So I felt, oh, this is much cleaner. This is, you know, I'm not sticking a syringe in my arm. I'm doing better than all those other people.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing how we do that, how we can compare? We can always give ourselves some rationalization for doing what we're doing by, oh, there's somebody worse than me. There's something worse than what I'm doing, right?
Most definitely.
Yeah. How do you get away with that? Now I heard you say that was somebody else's prescription, right? How do you get away with that if you're doing more and more every day and you're having to dip into somebody else's bottle? What are you doing to get away with that?
Well, it was pretty hard to get away with eventually, but, you know, I would do things like put Tylenol into the bottle after I've taken all of them out. You know, just take 5 or 6 here and they won't notice, but eventually it all comes back to you.
Yeah. Did the prescriptions run out at some point?
Yeah.
Where do you go then?
Then you go to the streets.
Okay. Is that what happened for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you already know somebody? You got friends that are doing it, so you know where to go to get it?
Yeah. A lot of people.
I don't know a kid, a teenager out here that don't know where to get dope.
Where to get heroin today?
Or whatever.
Or
Yeah.
something, some
They
pills.
know where to get the pills. They all know where to get the heroin. They all know where to get pot. I mean, everyone does, don't they?
Yeah, it's very common now.
Yeah. It's like, I think it's a lot like, well, I don't know. It was the same way when I was in high school, too. I try to compare like it's worse now than it was. And I think the prescription drugs are more.
You know why it's worse now? It is, because the drugs are so much more severe. There's some that, I mean, let's face it, they keep trying to find different and better drugs to help people deal with pain better.
Yeah.
So as the pain medication gets stronger, it gets more dangerous for the drug addicts.
Yeah, and there's a lot. I mean, you can look anywhere and see what the pharmaceutical companies are doing to combat a lot of the problems, is making it stronger, making it more available, making it,
And I'll tell you what, we have to go on break, but they're coming out with new stuff that are a whole lot stronger than anything that is out right now. And I mean, it's really creating some havoc right now before it's even out. This is Families in Action on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
Do you have a problem with your friends driving recklessly? With your friends endangering your life? I'm here to tell you that reckless driving is the #1 cause of teenage deaths. But with new and improved Slow Down, you don't have to die.
He's right. We should slow down.
In the real world, there is no spokesperson to prevent reckless driving. There's only you. Speak up.
Kim, pay attention.
Hi, I'm Ron Rudzinski, principal of Golden Oak Adult School. As part of the William S. Hart Union High School District, we're interested in hearing from you as to what you would like to see offered for adults at our school. In order to give us information and ideas, please call us at 253-0583. Call us between 2 o'clock and 9 o'clock p.m., Monday through Thursday. Again, the phone number is 253-0583. Thank you, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Have a banana. Eating well and playing go together like best friends.
You better believe it.
With the food pyramid, the bare necessities of living healthy are easy.
Bare necessities, the simple bare necessities.
So eat right. Be active.
Now move and sit.
And don't forget to have fun. That's the way to be the best.
You're such a fun baloo.
At anything you do. You can go to mypyramid.gov to play some games and find out more.
Welcome back to Families in Action on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I'm going to flip it over to Bob. You can fill him in on what we've been doing.
What have we been doing? We've been talking about we have been talking about the what's obvious to us and may not be to everybody else is the prescription drug problem that's nationwide, but particularly it hits home for us in the Santa Clarita Valley.
Because we live here.
Because we live here,
Exactly.
And every time someone dies. The majority of them these days are from prescription medications, and and it's just real personal to us, and it hits home, and we know a lot of these people. And so what we've been doing at the beginning of the show is we brought some guests on today. We have Ryan and we have Mindy. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Welcome back. And Ryan was giving us a progression of his. If you will, breaking of the things, of the contracts he said he would never break. I'll never do this, I'll never do that. And ended up, went from smoking pot to taking prescription medications to, you want to fill us in on, what I heard you say before the break is the first time I did it, it was like being in heaven. It was the best thing I ever felt, right? Then what is the sufficient enough bottom that got you to sit here today where you're clean and sober and are never going to go back and do it again?
Well, like you said, at first it's kind of a party thing, a stress reliever. Before long, I was physically dependent on the pain pills. And to give you an idea a little bit about what that's like, you wake up in the morning in an immense amount of pain. And the only thing that matters, the only thing that will get you well is to take those prescription drugs, or eventually to use heroin. So
let me get this straight in case there's somebody out there who doesn't understand what you mean by a tremendous amount of pain. Are you talking like a hangover, like a headache? What is? Can you describe the pain that you wake up in when you're detoxing from opiates?
It's similar to that. It's your body feels very tired. Your bones ache. Your bones are just screaming at you. Your skin's crawling. You've got an upset stomach. It's not fun.
Yeah. Sounds worse than a headache to me.
Yeah, it sounds worse than a
Sounds
hangover.
like the flu on steroids.
Yeah. Well, and I just asked you to do that because there's probably a lot of people that are listening that have no idea when we talk about the pain of withdrawal, what we're talking about is the worst agony that you've ever felt, and you can't do anything about it. So.
Yes. And then remember that a lot of these detoxes really do need medical attention, so you don't go through convulsions and seizures and that kind of stuff. So if you find yourself in the kind of trouble that we're talking about now, you really should seek medical attention.
Yeah.
So what happened? You woke up and went, life's great, I better get treatment.
Well, no. Yeah, I've found myself asking people for money, and that was just the beginning. Then you start stealing, just a bunch of horrific things I thought I would never do. You know, I wasn't brought up that way. I wasn't brought up as a street kid per se.
Right.
But it eventually evolved into that very quickly, and it was just a nightmare.
Yeah. Let me personalize it just a little bit. I want to ask you about probably one of the most important things that we do in Hitting Bottom is, what does a relationship with your family look like when you're at the worst of your addiction?
Trust. Trust is a big thing. You lose your family's trust, you lose everybody's trust in you.
You lose your own trust.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. When the only thing that matters is that drug, everything else falls apart.
Right.
So what happened? You wake up one day and you found yourself in big trouble? Is that what happened?
Well, you know, I was stealing for all these things, and you know, I was doing a bunch of crazy things. I posed as a doctor, calling in a prescription to a pharmacy for myself.
Right.
And eventually, you know, you get caught. And
Gotcha. So you checked in rehab? Is that what happened, or what happened? I don't know.
yeah, I checked into rehab, and I've been there for 16 days now.
You're still there? That's
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how does it feel?
It feels great. I've got a lot
Almost
of
like heaven?
almost. It's almost there.
I know what you mean.
It's definitely a different experience, but
When you wake up, you kind of feel good about yourself now?
yeah, I actually feel feelings, you know.
That could be a little interesting too, right?
Yeah, it's good times.
Yeah, well, and it's interesting because, you know, I remember, I'm in recovery myself, and I remember the first days. There was such a freedom in not having to wake up sick and wonder, what am I going to do to keep it going today? What kind of hustle have I got going? Who am I going to rip off? What am I going to do? How am I going to make it through the day? And there's such a freedom early on from that, you know, because I think really that's what keeps us clean and sober, is the feeling that we get from being clean and sober. Because I don't care how many consequences you throw my way, you know, it's hard to outweigh that thing that happened to me the first time I did it, you know. So feeling pretty good about yourself today?
Yeah, I feel awesome. I'm working a program, the 12-step program, and
Getting trust back?
yeah, definitely.
You know, only one thing can blow all this.
Myself.
Well,
No, not so much yourself, but your addiction.
Okay.
If you let it get you again. Remember those contracts that Bob talked about earlier?
Oh, yeah.
Get them again, put them in your brain, and never lose them. I will never again. I will never use any drugs. I will never drink.
yeah, no matter what.
No
matter what.
Right.
This is Families in Action on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHCS. We're coming back.
You're so lost. No, I am not, man. Dude, I dropped my phone. No, the road. Whoa. Okay. How would you like to save your life from an ugly, reckless driving death? Don't answer yet. There's more. Act now by slowing down, and we'll guarantee you complete satisfaction. That's awesome.
In the real world, there is no spokesperson to prevent reckless driving. There's only you. Speak up.
Whoa, Andy, slow down.
What the heck is this thing?
Back fat. Someone must have lost it eating a smaller sized popcorn.
Give me that.
Did you know the first gold in California was discovered right here in the Santa Cruz Valley, long before Sutter's Mill? Did you know our valley was the birthplace of the California oil industry? Did you know that when Los Angeles joined the rest of the country by rail, the tracks came together in Santa Clarita? You might know we're a popular location for filming, but did you know we always have been? Learn all about Santa Clarita's fascinating history at scvhistory.com or visit the Saugus Train Station Museum in Old Town Newhall, weekends 1 to 4.
Welcome back to Families in Action on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Bob, Mindy.
All right. We've got an awesome show going on. We're talking about progression of drug addiction and drug use, and starting with, we have two guests today that both are familiar with prescription drug abuse and how that leads to where it led to. Ryan's talked a little bit. We want to bring in Mindy. Hi, Mindy.
Hello, Bob.
And we're like, Mindy and I are like old friends by now.
Oh,
Man.
I
We know each other
right?
pretty well. So bring us up to speed, because your story's a little bit different than Ryan's. You want to tell us about that?
I actually had you on. No, I never had you on this show.
No, I've never been on the show before.
That's right.
I started smoking pot and drinking here and there probably about 12, 13 years old. When I was about 15, I had surgery for the first time. They took my appendix out. And I remember waking up from surgery, and I was doing American Sign Language as my foreign language at the time, and I woke up, I was signing to the nurses because I still couldn't talk, and just this sensation of warmth and comfort, this warm, it was like somebody put a really heavy, warm, comfortable blanket over the top of me, and just like Ryan was saying, feeling like I was in heaven. And they gave me the prescription for Vicodin after the surgery and stuff. Obviously, you're in a lot of pain. And again, that sensation, I would take the pill, I would feel warm and comfortable, safe. The noise in my head was gone. Throughout the next, I would say about 9 years, I had about 9 more surgeries.
Wow.
From other stuff going on. I had heart surgery. I had to have surgeries on my ovaries and stuff like that. It was a lot, and I was in and out of the hospital, not only having surgery, but in and out of the emergency room, and always on pain medication.
So you really had no choice, though.
Yeah, I was in a lot of pain.
Remember, we were talking about accidental addicts earlier?
Yes. And I don't know that necessarily mine was an accident. There is a history of alcoholism and addiction in my family. So I think it was just the pain conditions and then the history of it in my family combined to just make this perfect storm. And when I was about 23, I was married at the time. I was living in the Valley. I was working. I was very successful. I worked in the gun industry, actually. And I had another miscarriage, and I was devastated, and it was very, very painful, not only physically, but emotionally, mentally. I was just distraught. The man I was married to at the time was in the Marine Corps Reserve, and he was gone. They were getting ready to deploy to Iraq, and my support was just, all of my friends were his friends, and they were all leaving. So I had nothing. And I went to the doctor, and he was like, I told him how much pain I was in. I was crying, and he gives me this prescription. And I go to the pharmacy, and I fill it. I take the pills, and everything is okay. From there, it progressed very quickly.
Isn't that scary?
It is. It progressed very quickly. Within a year and a half, I was in treatment for the first time. I stayed sober for a few months after that.
Why'd you go to treatment for the first time?
Because I got caught.
Okay.
My family found out. My husband found out. My parents found out. I was living with my parents again because that was when the economy was starting to just tank. We were losing our condo, and it was just, there was too much going on, and I didn't know how to deal with it. It was one thing after another after another. My best friend, my next door neighbor, died of an OxyContin overdose, just about 2 months after my miscarriage. My husband left for Iraq another 2 months later. There was all these things that kept happening. I lost my job, and it was too much. I could not handle it. And after I left treatment the first time, I thought it was great because I made these new friends in treatment. When I was just doing the pills, everybody I knew was doing pills. Well, I go to treatment and I make these friends, and they're all doing heroin, and they're all smoking crack, and they're all doing meth, and they're doing all these drugs that I had never done before. So I get out of treatment, I stay sober for a little while, and I actually relapsed on Tramadol, and it interacted with some of my other medications, and I ended up having 2 seizures in one day. One of them behind the wheel in my car getting onto the freeway, which was very scary.
That's nice.
Yes.
Scary, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know how I got...
Dangerously scary.
Yeah. A couple weeks go by, and I'm back in the Valley, and this time I'm doing heroin. And The first time I did heroin, I did not smoke it, I did not snort it, I didn't eat it, I shot it up because I knew that that was what I wanted. From there, you know, back and forth between treatment a few more times, and the last serious run I had, I went downhill and spiraled out of control so fast, so quickly.
What was the end result? What was the bottom?
Me living in my car on the streets in the valley, going from friend's house to friend's house, waking up what I call dope sick every morning, where I can't even get high anymore. I can only get well.
Drugs don't work.
Yes, drugs don't work anymore. Nothing works anymore, and just
there's nothing
disgusting.
worse than when you can't get high and you can't get clean.
Exactly.
You're just in that zone.
Yes, in physical pain, emotional pain, mental pain, just disgusted with yourself, and you don't know what to do or how to fix it.
Well, you know what? That's how people lose their lives.
Mm-hmm.
They can't get high and they don't know what to do, and they just keep using to try to get that feeling of being in heaven again. And that's where they end up.
Yeah, and the brain says, give me more, and the body says, I'm not doing anymore.
Yeah.
Sorry, it starts
Exactly
shutting
right.
down.
Yeah, but that's the scary part about dope sick.
Yeah.
Is you can get your head can't get high.
Yeah.
But your body.
Yes, and to the point where the only good solution that you can see is dying. So you try, but it doesn't work, and that's the worst part for me. Was if I was still using, I don't think I would be dead. I would think I would be that miserable person that just can't even get high and can't do enough and just out of my mind crazy.
So you thought about ending it all?
Oh, absolutely. It seemed like the only viable option.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, you found another option,
Yes,
which
I
we'll hear
did.
about when we come back from break. This is Families in Action on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
Gold, gold, gold. The newspapers screamed gold when James Marshall pulled his famous nugget out of John Sutter's mill. But did you know that wasn't really the first discovery of gold in California? The year was 1842. It was Francisco Lopez's 40th birthday. California and the Santa Clarita Valley were still part of Mexico, and Francisco had studied mineralogy at the University of Sonora. He was up here in Placerita Canyon running cattle while he scoured the valley for gold. One afternoon, he took a little siesta under an oak tree just east of the 14 freeway and dreamed of striking it rich. Well, guess what? He awoke from his nap, dug up some wild onions, and right there, clinging to the roots, were chunks of gold. Next day, Francisco sent off his gold to the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia, where it was found to be almost pure, 916 fine. The Mint report makes it the first documented discovery of gold in California, and it sparked California's first gold rush, too, when 2,000 miners from Mexico proper descended on Placerita Canyon 6 years before Sutter's Mill. Want to learn more about Santa Clarita Valley history? Click on scvhistory.com or stop by the Saugus train station in downtown Newhall, weekends 1 to 4.
Hi, I'm Cindy with Santa Clarita Transit, and I'm going to show you today how easy it is to read a bus schedule to get to where you want to go. The first thing you'll need to do is locate your bus stop, and you can do that by looking at the transit system map in the middle page of every schedule book. Now identify the destination on the map and select the route that'll get you there. Next, locate the timetable for the route or routes you are traveling on. Not all bus stops are located on the table, so find the nearest time point identified at the top of the timetable by a yellow diamond. Once you identify the time you need to leave, make sure to note the route number on the side of the timetable to the corresponding time. This is very important because a stop might be served by multiple routes, and we wouldn't want you to get on the wrong bus. There will be times when you need to take multiple routes to reach your destination. The system map will help you reach your destination. The system map will help you locate transfer points in between routes. Some popular transfer points include the McBean Regional Transit Center and the Newhall Metrolink Station. Let's look at an example. Say you're at the Newhall Metrolink Station and you want to go to Magic Mountain for a day of fun. You can take the route 5 or 6 from your starting point and transfer to the route 3 or 7 at the McBean Regional Transit Center, which will take you right to Magic Mountain. Please note that all of our local routes stop at the McBean Regional Transit Center, which acts as a central transfer point in the city.
If the spreading of germs were this obvious, you'd wash your hands more. A message from the LA County Department of Public Health.
All right, welcome back to Families in Action, brought to you by Santa Clarita's hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Carrie Quashen and myself are here today with our very special guests, Ryan and Mindy. Hi, guys. Welcome back.
Hello.
Hello.
All right, so I think we were able to paint a nice picture of the progression, by your personal stories, and we appreciate you coming and sharing that with us and everyone else out there who's listening. And so where are you guys at today? Well, a couple of things. Where are you at today? And do you want to say anything to your families if they're listening?
I'm sure they are. If not, they can all download this. You can always download this show later today or tomorrow just by going to hometownstation.com and go to Families in Action and hit the little download thing. And it's also on Channel 20 every Monday at 4 o'clock. Yep. But go on. Where are you at today, guys?
Ryan?
Hello, family. I love you and I miss you. And I'm doing really good, and I'll see you soon.
Nice.
Where are you doing good? How long you been clean?
16 days.
16 days, right on. I want to clap, but I know, right?
You can clap.
Yeah. Woo.
Thank you.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you. And this.
You know what I say all the time too. I want you back in about 90 days. I want people to start following our guests.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
for sure.
So it gives you one extra reason. We're all watching you.
Real quick, I don't want to go too far with this, but you've been in rehab before.
Yeah, yes I have.
So are you going to learn from the experience? Now, you've been in rehab before, you went out there and you tried it again, now you're back, you got 16 days, right? You going to learn from the experience from last time and do it different when you get out of rehab this time?
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to change everything.
Yeah.
Live a whole new life.
Good. Getting clean is really easy. You just got to change everything.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts, your playground, your toys, your friends, everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Mindy?
Well, congratulations on that, Mindy.
Where am I? I've been sober for a year and 13 days now.
All right.
Which
Yeah,
I never
that
thought
is
would
awesome.
happen.
I did. I told you.
Did you?
Yeah, we did.
I really did.
I had my doldrums, I guess you could say there, but I couldn't be happier today. Even when things aren't necessarily great, I wouldn't give it up for anything. And I constantly remind myself of that. And I want to thank my family. I love you guys. They were so crucial in my getting sober and their support. And just, when I was an outpatient, my mom, every week she was there family night with me, every week supporting me, always helping me. Even times when I didn't like the decisions they were making, I knew in the end that it was for my own good.
You have a pretty special mom.
And I love my parents. My family is awesome. Yeah.
Very good. Why do you think you're a success? What happened?
I don't know why I myself in particular am a success. I think I got to a place where it was like I knew either I was going to do this or I was going to be miserable for the rest of my life. And I knew I wasn't going to die because I had tried and failed on that front.
Thank God.
Yes, thank God. And I just got to a place where enough was enough, and I was willing to do anything to stay sober.
And you know what, Bob? She just said it, didn't she?
Mm-hmm. Willing to do anything.
Yep.
Yeah, willing to do
So many people come, and they're just not willing to do everything they need to do, meaning they don't want to cut their friends loose. They still want to hang out at the pool table in the bar.
Yes. Yes.
And you can't do those kinds of things and stay clean. Staying clean is easy, like you said. You just got to change.
And I was willing more than anything to get out of my own way. That was my big thing. I was always very scared to ask for help because, since I was young, my family had raised me to be self-sufficient, and how to solve problems on my own or figure out where I need to go. And so asking for help was very foreign. And I finally got to a place where it was like, I need somebody's help, and I don't know how else to just help me, like anybody. And that was a big part for me.
Well, we get, it's interesting. We'll tell people that, like, how much you have to change and what lengths you have to go to stay clean and sober. And a lot of times we'll go, wow, the people will get the feedback. Isn't that sort of dramatic? And isn't that a lot to ask? But I don't ever want to lose sight of what a serious thing drug addiction is. And if there's somebody out there listening who doesn't really get that because maybe they're not a drug addict, it's easy for us to get it because we know. We know. We've been through the ringer and we know how hard it is to stop, and we know some of the things that we will do to keep it going. And so we know the work that we put into staying high at the end or trying to stay not sick at the end is a lot of work, and it's a daily thing. And we have to put at least that much effort into our recovery. But I don't want anyone out there who's listening not to really, really understand really how tragic the losses are, how dramatic the effects are, and what a serious issue we're dealing with.
And what a challenge you guys had to face to get to where you're at now for your 16 days or your 113 days.
Yeah.
It's just, it's hard work.
A year and 13 days.
Yes, did I say that?
You said 113.
Oh, I blew that. Yeah, a year and 13 days. I don't want to take a year away from you.
Right, give her a
but
year.
no, very, very good, and congratulations to both of you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And your families, they got their kids back.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Hey, on that, Bob, it's time.
It is time.
We have Alex's show next. Alex Urbina in Life Leadership. Do not miss that show. Again, Alex Urbina's show is coming up next. Just hang around. This is Families in Action on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHCS. Thanks, guys, for being here.
Thank you.
And everyone else, have a great week.